In this lesson, we're going to create the image gallery, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. One is very similar to the approach that we just used here for the map, and then the other one is going to be using a drag trigger. And so you'll see the differences between the two. So what we'll do is, let's just move this over here in line with the previous, and Alt drag and just move this right here. And we will give this simple title as gallery. All right, for a gallery, it's going to be very simple, no type outside of just the headline. And we're going to use the rectangle tool. And again, if you wish, hit V to go back to the selection tool, and we can just get this back and hit R, or just click up there. And we'll just drag out a nice size rectangle. There we go. So everything should be lined up, and it is. Okay, great. So we can hide this, and we'll give maybe about 5 for the border radius. And what we'll do now is we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of room to work with here, because we're gonna have elements on the left and right. What we'll do is we're going to duplicate this. So Control D, we're gonna move this over. We want it to stay inside of the frame, and we'll just use our keyboard arrows on the right. And then we'll replicate this one, Control D, move this over here, and then move this as well. And if you want to get in here a little bit closer, there we go. Now we have equal white space between 3 cards. And you can see these ones are off kind of to the side, which gives the user the cue that they can kind of use their finger to move in and out through these cards. So what I'll do first is we're going to click on our plugins and go to Unsplash. And we'll select this one, and we're just going to click on Abstract and just choose something quick for each one of these. And then this one as well. All right, great. So at this point, I'm going to replicate this artboard by holding Shift and Alt while dragging down. And so what we'll do here, in fact, I might move this up pretty high out of the way. So what we'll do here is we're going to take these 3, and this is a very quick method. It's similar to this right here, what we did down here. And we're just going to right click, and we're going to hit Frame. Then we'll choose Clip Content, and we'll drag that in right here. And if you wish, you can select each of these, holding Shift, and drag these back right to where they were before. Then we come out here to our prototype. We'll select this, and for scrolling, just use horizontal scrolling. And if you wanted something similar where you had vertical scrolling, you could do the same process. So now what we'll do is we'll take our gallery, and I don't know why our gallery is going to contact, but we're going to push it over here. And it's going to, let's see here, change this here to gallery. All right, we'll click on this, click on gallery, and now we can left click and just kind of drag through them. Notice how they don't like stop at specific ones. It just kind of goes based on the momentum of your scroll speed here. And it's a nice way to have a gallery if you wish. Now, I'm going to show you another way to do this, and that's through the drag property, or trigger rather. And so what we'll do is we're going to disconnect this right here. We're going to move this one probably up just over here. We're going to move this one down. This is the one we're going to say that we're going to use. All right, so for this one, this involves replicating this a few times, depending on how many pictures you have. In our case, we have 3. We're going to have 3 areas where we replicate this. So before we do that, we're just going to take these 3. We'll go ahead, Control G to group them. And then I'm going to hold Alt and let go, Alt and Shift rather, and then just Control D to duplicate it a 3rd time. So what we can do up here is we'll choose the starting point. So this will go right here. And if this ever happens because your mouse went outside while dragging the object out, you can let's change this to gallery. You can just change this, you can just drag this in manually. So group 9 goes here. There we go. All right, so that is the first. The middle one's already here, centered up. And then over here, we'll go ahead and just do the same thing and line it up, and there we go. So then what we do is we're going to go to prototype, and we're going to add an interaction. So this interaction, we're going to pull this down here. We're going to change this to on drag. We can smart animate it, and that's fine. We're going to change this one to the same thing. This one's also going to go back up here because we want to go left or right. And then finally, this one will go up to this connection. All right. By the way, make sure these are all situated as on drag. That one is as well. And let's see if it works. We want to make sure we're on the right actual artboard. I think it was on the other one. We have to reconnect our gallery real quickly to this one. All right. So we're on gallery, and look at this. Notice how they snap into place. So that's the difference between the previous one where we're just using horizontal scrolling. Horizontal scrolling stays on the same frame, whereas this on drag will actually go to entirely different frames, but it'll do so in a pretty seamless manner. It allows you to do some cool things too. For instance, if you wanted to change out maybe the opacity or the size, I'll do this just for this top and bottom one because it's a little bit time consuming. We can select, perhaps we'll go to the design tab. We'll select both of these. So this one and this one. We'll choose to constrain the proportion. So if we just change the height, it'll also proportionally adjust the width. So maybe we'll just change this to 530. And that's going to scale them down, and we're going to move it down with our keyboard so it's kind of like in the center. All right, so the one that's in view is going to be larger slightly than the other two. And then what we can do now here is come down to this one, and we'll select these two on the left and right. Make sure we are constrained in 530. We can also move these down with our keyboard, and we'll select this one, and we'll get it back into view here. All right, and while we're at it, might as well just do the last two. It's not that time consuming. All right, we'll take these two, constrain 530, and we'll just use our keyboard arrow keys to get these in line like that. So now watch, it's magical. Notice how they kind of just slowly animate up, and that's because we're using smart animate on the on drag trigger. Awesome. So now we can go back to download brochure if we wish. Back here. Ooh, the home, that was not working correctly. We want to make sure if we go back to prototype that that's going to home. One of these actually ended up going somewhere else. I want to make sure this is correct. There we go. So let's click on download brochure. Oh, that's because it's changed it for some reason to on drag. That's why it didn't make sense. I'm going to make sure that these are all correct. I'm not sure why exactly it changed those, but we definitely want to update that. So now these should all be working. Download brochure, go back to home. Download brochure, that's working. Gallery, and then finally contact us. Great. Awesome. So now what we're going to do is in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how you can work in Lottie animations. So if you don't know what Lottie animations are, I'm going to describe that and show you how to implement it in the next lesson.